have a lot of game left. We're going home. We get game 3, everything switches. And I think that's the mindset going forward. He's been in a lot of these situations, so it's obvious that he needs game 3. They got to be better. Bobby Portis was unbelievable last night.
So good.
So good to see him back. Giannis was great last night. Dame struggled a little bit. There was some rust there. They didn't get much from anyone else. Kuzma was a little more active. But they got to be better, and defensively, they just got off to such a bad start. The Pacers were hot. The Pacers kept same thing. They were picking on Dame. They were putting Dame in every single action, pick and roll. So they have to be better, but you have to be confident. Listen, win game 3, kind of the pressure shifts back. So it's not over, but they have to win game 3.
Yeah. By the way, Dame did make it a 2-point game with like a minute whatever left. But it's interesting.
Yeah, his message was right as the head coach.
You have to say that.
Yeah, you have to say that. We haven't played a game yet on our home court. Haven't played our best basketball. We're trying to figure out the best way to work Dame back in, where we can have him be the dynamic player that we know him to be. But again, if that's my head coach, that's the right message. You don't go in there and bash these guys when they're down 0-2.
Fair.
Because this is a bad time to kind of shake the locker room. You want to make sure you rally these guys, make sure everybody is on the same page, and still give them the confidence to know that, hey, we still can go win 2 basketball games on our home floor and get right back in the series.
All right, but Boogie, they did give up 240 points in the 2 games. What do you do about that?
Man, I think that's where the players have to take it personal. Put some pride on it. Have some pride about it on the defensive end. I think it starts with Giannis as well. I mean, his matchup is against Pascal Siakam. They both play the 4. So I think with him being the leader, the best player, highest paid guy on this team, the superstar that he is, I think it starts with him. And, obviously it's 2 different scenarios, but we watched LeBron last night, and he was the most defensively engaged guy on the floor. And this is a guy 20 years in with every accolade. But him being the leader, him being the superstar that he is, he went out and he set the tone for his team. And I think that's the same thing that Giannis has to do with this Milwaukee team. So I think it starts with Giannis, and then it trickles down to everybody else.
And it was the 17th meeting between these two particular teams over the last 2 seasons, and there was a lot in there. And I know before the game, Tyrese Halliburton's like, they don't like us, we don't like them. All of that showed on the court, which, P.S., yay. Siakam Trent, you got a little dust up there right off the bat. There's a flagrant later on Porter Jr., Halliburton, Dame trash talking. They were face to face at one point.
Draymond did that, he'd be suspended for 3 games.
Yeah, he would 100%. This was a great moment. There was just a lot of yapping. Loved it so much. And then you got teased on both Siakam and Portis. Boogie, I obviously, as a fan, want more of this. I loved it so much. Do we need more of this? And is this a rivalry in your eyes? That right there is my favorite.
Dust up extra.
Yeah, we're going to our dust up extra.
I love this, and I think it's great for the game. I think the league allowing this type of physicality, this type of interaction between 2 teams, I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for the fans. I think it's great for the playoffs. And I think as of right now, where we are today, I think the playoffs have been great on both sides. So the physicality has definitely been allowed in the game lately, and it's only been better for the game. No more really high-scoring games. I think it's great. I think all of this is great for the sport. We're getting back to the foundation, which is competing. All this friendly, buddy stuff, like all that's out the window. We're here to compete. We're here to beat the opposite side. And it's showing. I think this is a great example for the game.
And there's history here. There's real beef here. You can tell. Halliburton and Damian Lillard, they don't like each other.
Keeps doing this.
The Dame time thing was found disrespectful. By the way, Giannis is kind of the first one, too, that said, I'm in the summer, I'm not working out with these guys. They're not my friends. So he kind of started that whole thing with he's going to do his own thing. He's riding for his team. But this is great, and I think Halliburton too. The overrated thing to me, I think is weird. I think he's very good. I think he struggled this earlier. I think maybe there's some jealousy there that he was on Team USA and he talks a lot of trash. But But the most underrated player in the year of this might be his teammate Siakam.
Which he did say.
Just humble. You don't see him in national ads. He does no commercials, and he just gets 23 to 25 a game. He plays defense. He's versatile. He has been unbelievable for this team. And again, when you play a team this many times, there's going to be physicality. There's going to be beef, and this one, I don't think it's stopping anytime soon.
I love that they allowed Dame and Tyrese Halliburton to just talk for as long as they did. Because I was like, this is very tense, and I'm a big fan of everything. We did have our Kuzma Propapalooza yesterday, which he just had to do better than zeros across the board. So that's a good thing, right? He did do that. He had 12. The scoreless thing in Game 1 was big. But the impact maybe wasn't as big as you would like, Lou. So I'm wondering, Should a change be made there? Perhaps a Portis switcheroo?
Everything should be on the table.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're down 0-2, everything should be on the table. Everything should be considered. More than Kyle Kuzma, I'll take the attention away from him. I think they got to figure out Brook Lopez minutes.
Interesting.
And the reason why I say that, because you watched that game yesterday, we talk about matchup problems. Like right now, our bigs are getting picked on in some of these games. And when I watch Brook Lopez play, like if you're not going to put 10 to 15 points on the board, be that stretch 5 that you've been in your career and make threes. He was 50% from the 3 last night, but only 2 for 4. Only four attempts from the 3-point line. And then on the other end of the floor, they're putting you in pick and roll and you're in drops. Indiana shooting the ball well from the 3-point line. That's something that you got to patch up if you're Milwaukee. So more so than Kyle Kuzma, I say put him on the floor with Bobby Portis. Give them more of a hybrid lineup where you can have somebody guard Miles Turner when he goes out to the 3-point line. Have guys up on pick and rolls and give them an opportunity to stop the 3-point line with Indiana. Because if they're going to continue to get so many open looks when they come off of just clean pick and rolls, and that's their first option and their first action, you got to look at that as well.
Yeah, and Dame is huge. Obviously, we know how great he is. We know how good of a closer he is. He has 14 points last night, 4 of 13, so there's some rust there. He's got to equalize Halliburton and Nembhard, and he didn't. You know, Nembhard and Halliburton had 21 and 17 last night. He's got to be just as good as both of them collectively, and the Pacers, that's what they do. They're a balanced attack. They get stuff from Mather, and they get stuff from McConnell. Their bigs can step out and shoot. They put you in different situations. We know how unique Rick Carlisle's offense is with pick and roll and up and down threes and transition, so they put you in binds defensively, and Milwaukee is not a very good defensive team in the first place, so they have to make adjustments. They have to get certain rotations and matchups that they want. But you know what you're going to get from Giannis. If Bobby Portis can continue to do what he's doing, they got to have Dame. Dame's got to be an elite. You know, he's got to be better than Tyrese Halliburton in this series.
I mean, he had not played in quite some time, so I suppose a little bit of rust is to be
But he doesn't
expected.
have time. He's got to have maybe 2 more games.
Got a couple days now to chill. Giannis had a great Giannis night, but immediately the narrative was back up on social media. If they go ahead and lose in the first round, and they might, where does he go next? He has 3 years left. But you think he's asking out at some point? I think that's a yes.
That's a tough one. I can see it happening just because of the past 2 years and how it's gone in the playoffs. But you just got to think, where's a destination with that much money, with that much time left on the contract? Where's a destination for him to go? And I mean, obviously you got the big market teams like the Knicks, and I mean, obviously the Lakers are kind of locked up. But maybe it's Chicago. That's a team that he's mentioned in the past. To, always have a love for it, but I can also see him sticking it out and figuring out this situation in Milwaukee because they do have a great foundation with him and Dame. It's just about figuring out the pieces around it and possibly finding another piece to add to it. So it's not the worst situation, but it's got to suck for a guy of this stature to, be put out in the first round. So it's definitely a possibility.
Well, he was a part of a lot of the decision making.
That's true.
This is like he was a part of how we even got here to begin with. And listen, be clear, it's a lot of basketball left in this series. Down 0-2 don't mean it's over with. Like, they can tighten this thing up and still get out of the first round. But the origin of this story, he was involved in the coaching decisions. I'm sure he was involved in moves that were being made for them to find a group that caters to the way that he plays, to give them an opportunity to be successful. So you can't abort ship now when it doesn't go your way. So more so than anything, if you can add another piece, I know they shipped Chris Middleton out, but if you can add somebody that's as dynamic as he is at that spot, give you and Dame another chance at it, another crack at it, I think you see Giannis in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform again after this. But again, you can't be the guy that leave, especially when everything was catered for you.
And this team is built to win right now. Like, there's no real future with this team. It's right now. Look at these Kuzma, Lopez, Lillard, Prince, Portis, Giannis. They are all kind of in their prime, going in their late 20s, early 30s. Like this team, if it's not enough now, when will it be? So you hear the stories. Giannis to the Nets yesterday. He's got a bunch of businesses there. That means nothing, by the way. I do think, but you're going to go to the Nets.
Well, what if the Knicks and the Bucks both lose in the first round?
Listen, I think 29 other teams would love to have Giannis.
Absolutely.
Like what do we, if you can put together a package like a Houston or something like that has the assets, sure, you go and you try, you shop that, but I understand his frustration, but it was like Lou said, he's kind of been the part. You don't think he okayed the Middleton trade for Kuzma? Like, you don't think he did these? Of course he's involved in that. So it's not always greener on the other side, but I do see a world where he's just, what we have is not enough, and I'm ready to move on.
I mean, his teammate was going to stay in Portland for his whole career, and that changed. So I feel like anything's up in the air. There was a Pacers fan last night that did a little extra credit, brought his own timer for when Giannis is at the free throw line, because obviously you hear the counting. But this guy did it all.
Says Greek time.
That is amazing, by the way, that you can just bring that in like that. I have a question. Chandler, you can go first on this. Does this distract you at all? Like, or is he just used to it?
I mean, you're used to it. It's fun. I would think
creative.
it's hilarious. Obviously, this has become a whole bit now with every arena he goes to. The 20,000 people are chanting, from 10 to 1. It shouldn't distract you. You're not necessarily focused on that. You're focused on the rim and kind of your process of a free throw, but it's hilarious. And I love it. This is what,
pretty good.
This is what fans should do. This is what they're there for. I love it.
That's good fans.
It is a distraction.